Late one morning in 1984, headed for lunch in San Francisco, I drove toward one of the toll booths. I heard loud music. It sounded like a party. I looked around. No other cars with their windows open. No soundtracks. I looked. Finally, inside of the toll booth, inside it, a man was dancing. And I asked, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm having a party." And I said, "But what about the rest of the people?" And I looked down at the other toll booths. Nothing moving there. And he said, "Well, they're not invited." I had a dozen other questions to ask him, but somebody in a big hurry to get somewhere started punching his horn behind me, and I drove off. But I made a note to myself to find this guy again. There's something in his eye that says there's magic in his toll booth. There's something in his eye that says there's magic in his toll booth. Months later, I did find him again, still with the loud music, still having a party, and again I asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, I remember you from the last time." Well, I'm still dancing, I'm still having the same party. And I said, "But look, what about the rest of your colleagues?" And he said, "Stop. What do those look like to you?" And he pointed down the row of the rest of the toll booths. And I said, "Well, they look like toll booths to me." And he goes, "No, imagination, imagination, look again." And again, I looked and I said, "I'm sorry, I give up. What do they look like to you?" And he said, "Vertical coffins." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Vertical coffins, I can prove it. At 8:30 every morning, live people get in. Then they die for 8 hours. And at 4:30, like Lazarus from the dead, they reemerge and go home. For 8 hours, brain is on hold, dead on the job, going through the motions." I was amazed. This guy had developed a philosophy, a methodology about his job, and I could not help asking the next question. "Well, why is it different for you? I mean, you're having a great time." And he looked at me and he said, "I knew you were going to ask me that someday. You know, I'm going to be a dancer. It's all I've ever wanted to do." And he pointed to the administration building and he said, "My bosses are in there and they're paying for my training. And I get to do what I love every day. Dance, dance, dance." 16 people dead on the job, and the 17th, in precisely the same situation, figured out how to live. That man was having a party where you and I would probably not last 3 days. The boredom, can you imagine? He and I did have lunch later, and he said, "I don't understand why anyone would think my job is boring. I mean, I have a corner office, glass on all sides. I can see the Golden Gate, San Francisco, the Berkeley Hills. Half the Western world vacations here, and I just stroll in every day, and I get to do what I love. I get to dance, 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 dance." This is a wonderful, true story by Dr. Charles Garfield, who wrote a book about high-performance people. And here's a man who would not let anything get in the way of his dream. What he wanted to do was to dance. Story from a second helping of Chicken Soup for the Soul, originally titled "A Place to Stand" by Dr. Charles Garfield. Revealed to me through a book recommendation by my friend Betty Newman, a very lively New Yorker in her 70s who's still trying to figure out what she wants to be when she grows up. The book, The Second Half of Life, Opening the 8 Gates of Wisdom by Angeles Arian. I think it's important for us to take a look at where the vertical coffins or the horizontal coffins are showing up in our lives. Because in order to truly generate, to create, in order to truly leave a legacy of wisdom, we have to refuse to walk the procession of the living dead, and we have to dismantle the vertical coffins of our lives. We have to begin to see where in our lives do we carry that kind of vitality, that kind of commitment, that kind of dancing. Where does your life dream carry a calling that's beyond circumstance? Where will you dismantle the vertical coffins in your life and once again begin to remember to redream so that you and I can leave a legacy of wisdom and love and a legacy of true power that empowers and inspires others to do the same? Inspiration from Angeles Arian and her book, The Second Half of Life, Opening the 8 Gates of Wisdom. I hope you enjoyed this story. This is Bobby Kountz, the Earth Artist. Thanks for listening.